Sending cold DMs goes way further than clicking on someone's profile and just shooting over a quick message. In all actuality, it's a skill that once you get really good at it, you'll feel like a pro booking sales calls day in and day out. And that's exactly how I felt after sending more than 5 million cold DMs and figuring out the best way to get a stranger to buy whatever it is that you're trying to sell online. In this video, I'll be walking through the exact method and talking about how you can start implementing this in your own DMs. So there's two ways to scrape leads when it comes to Twitter DMs. Number one is just going to be organically, you kind of picking and choosing who you want to reach out to. And then number two is going to be using a tool. Now, if you don't want to use a tool, this is exactly what I do. First thing you're going to want to do is you want to identify who your ICP is. Once you've done that, then you want to start looking through Twitter. There's a couple ways to go about this. The first one, if you have a decent sized following, what I would do is I would make some kind of value-based post. I would essentially do like a DM giveaway. And what that means is I would either record a YouTube video, a Loom video. I would make a tweet saying everyone that likes, comments, and follows will then be sent a DM from me with whatever the value-based content is. And then what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a bunch of people that fit your ICP to essentially just interact with your post. Then you're going to auto DM them with whatever the value is. And then you're just going to have a really, really nice list of people that should be pretty qualified, that are interested in your service, and that have actively said that they want whatever it is that you're offering. Number two, if you don't have a big enough following, what you can do is you can look at, in the realm of your competitors, who's doing that. Are there other people putting out some banger threads that people are interacting with, that then you can go and kind of look through the list and scrape and then message those people? Or you could literally just kind of go through your timeline, hit someone up. So for example, my guy Phil here, he is huge in the e-com space. So what you can do is you can go ahead and have a look at who he follows. So these bigger accounts will always be following some really, really high quality accounts. These are always going to be some really good ones. Now that's really good if you just want to send a couple DMs per day, but if you want to start sending thousands of DMs every single day, I highly recommend you check out Drippy for scraping. Essentially what Drippy Leads will allow you to do is it will allow you to plug in your email and your website, and it'll automatically create a list of 1,000 Twitter leads that fit your ICP perfectly. We can see ideal customer profile, we can see the industry that we're in, job titles, their pain points, and then their buyer goals, and then it would give you a list of leads. You can just hit download CSV. It would now send it over to your email for you to be able to download. And then you could message those guys manually, or you could upload them into Drippy and then get going that way. Now, before we actually start sending messages, we're going to need to craft a good message. So there's a couple things to think about when we are writing out our script. So the first thing you really want to think about is, why do people buy from you? The answer to that question is that people don't really care who you are. As long as you can solve their problem, then you're going to have no issues getting sales and getting replies. What you want to do is you want to create context about their problem. You want to make them super, super problem aware, because if they're not, you're going to have a way harder time selling them something. So before you even talk about your solution, you just want to make sure they know that without that problem being solved, their life is going to suck, or it's just going to keep sucking, or it's just going to get way worse if they don't fix that problem. And then you can start talking about your solution and how you and your company are that key to kind of get rid of that problem and to just make everything better. And so whenever you're writing a message, the marketing, which would be step number one, would be essentially letting them know and digging into pain points, digging at problems. And then the sales would be actually framing your solution as the fix to all their problems, or to that problem specifically. And so really, in order to have a really good script, the problem and solution link has to be really, really strong. If you can't make a strong enough case to why you are the best solution, you're going to have a really hard time getting good replies in the DMs and then getting good sales afterwards. So step number one is going to be educating the prospect on their problems, which is going to be the whole marketing side. These are a couple good questions to kind of hit on that. Number one is explain the problem and make it very specific. So for our ICP, the main problem here that we're trying to solve is people are overly reliant on cold email, and they're seeing a decline in cold email results. And so they need a way to keep up with the revenue goals, or they might just be trying to 2x, 3x, 4x their business, and they can't seem to crack that code through cold email. They can't seem to scale further from where they're at. That is the problem that a lot of our customers face. So it's okay, I know that you're already really successful with cold email. You're probably doing some LinkedIn, you're probably running some ads, but you want to add another client acquisition system into your business. And so that's exactly when Twitter comes in. Explain the reason why the problem occurs. Probably got too comfortable with cold email, didn't bother to learn new client acquisition methods. And so now it's kind of like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Cold email is kind of going down, my results are going down. What can I do? Explain the consequence of the problem. So So consequences, essentially, if you don't fix this, if you just keep going with cold email, it'll keep going down. Obviously, revenue will go down, lifestyle will go down, layoffs will occur, maybe investors will be angry, which are all really things that no CEO, that no head of any company really wants to go through. And so step number 2 is going to be providing the solution and framing your service as the solution. This is where it starts getting into the sale and less about marketing. We're going to introduce a specific solution. In this case, it is Twitter outreach. Second, explain the reason why the specific solution is a good fit. You already have successful outbound campaigns. You just need a new source of revenue and leads, which is exactly what Twitter offers. Highlight the benefits of the solution. It's cheaper, more effective. Blue ocean leads have never been outreach to, and it's going to save you from all of these pain points. The ultimate positive outcome: no layoffs. You end up hiring more people to keep up with demand that you're generating. Increase in revenue, lifestyle goes up, and everything just keeps going up and to the right, which is exactly where you want to go. And so once you have kind of these two things put together, so you have the marketing, which is going to be you making the prospect problem aware, and then you frame yourself as the main solution to that problem. What you can do now is get onto the actual script. This script right here essentially just goes over everything. So it's like, hey, hello, hi, first name. Are you guys running into cold email deliverability issues at company name? The reason I asked is I recently helped hyper-specific case study. So if this is an e-com brand, for example, and then you want to mention another e-com brand, and then case study name, and then book, and whatever the result was last month through Twitter outreach. Here, essentially what we're doing is we are hitting on everything that we talked about. So marketing right here. So, hey, I know you probably have this issue. I know your main revenue source is cold email. I have the solution. All you have to do is say yes to a quick Loom video. I'm not even going to ask you to hop on the call. And then obviously the message sells the Loom video sells the call, and then on the call you sell your service. People will either say yes to the Loom video, which I highly recommend you record a personalized Loom video specifically for them. And if you've done your research, you probably know what the objections will be and in what order they'll come up. And so that's kind of how you want to set up your Loom video structure, so that you start by answering all the questions that your prospect will have in order, so that it's just super, super natural. And then at the end, you prompt them to hop on a call. However, if they don't want a Loom, or they don't watch your Loom and they just start asking questions, let's just say they reply and they say, I never check my DMs, Twitter outreach doesn't work. So essentially what you want to do is you want to acknowledge, and then you want to hit them with a bunch of proof that what they're saying really doesn't make sense, or that it's just not true. So in this case, like, hey, I never check my DMs, Twitter outreach doesn't work. What I would do here is I would show them a bunch of our screenshots with over 10% reply rates, which is unheard of when it comes to cold email. I would show them some of the people that have replied to us, multi-million-dollar CEOs like Noah Kagan, and I would probably just send them either a Gamma document or some type of case study document to show them, like, hey, maybe you don't believe in this, but we just booked 161 sales calls in 30 days for one of our clients. They collected almost $130,000 from that. And so it clearly works. And then if you decide to go for the conversation, then always make it easy for them to reply. So always kind of keep the conversation going by ending off your participation in the conversation with a question mark. Essentially, keep asking like qualifying questions or questions that are going to help you help them. Then maybe you can give them a little bit of value. Maybe you can send them a YouTube video. Maybe you can send them a document, and then you can ask for the call. And so this is our Loom video framework. You just want to let them know that the video isn't automated, and you just kind of want to go back and forth between their Twitter and their website. Talk about what you do and what makes you guys special. If you have a specific method, then you can talk about clients that you've worked with, and then talk about how you're doing the exact same thing, as in like, hey, for example, for us, we always see sell Twitter DM outreach. And so it would be super hypocritical of us if we weren't doing any Twitter outreach. That is a really strong selling point on our end. We send tens of thousands of cold DMs every single day. And so whenever we hop on and we talk about cold DMs, then people will trust us, and then talk about results and why it works so well. And then quick insight into what you do for them. So if you can go into a little bit of strategy, this is one that people very often forget. So just talking about your internal systems, I think is huge, because it just adds a bunch of credibility. So essentially just showing them how it works on the inside, providing a timeline that works really, really well, so that people, whenever they buy, they know exactly what to expect. And then at the end, you could either go right in with the offer, or you can go into some sort of soft call to action to get them on a call. Once you're on the call, at that point, they're pretty much ready to close. And so doing that whole thing is just going to make your closing rates go through the roof, which is why I highly recommend you take prospects on this path. And so that's what I found from sending more than 5 million cold DMs to be the best method in terms of booking calls from cold DM outreach. So if you want to start booking a ton of sales calls really quickly through cold Twitter DMs, I highly recommend you check out Drippy down below in the description, and you can get started for completely free and you'll get 250 messages. I know sending out tons of DMs can be really hard if you don't have a really solid automation in place, which is why I created this video going over how to send thousands of personalized messages every single day using AI. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate you a ton, and you'll speak soon. Peace.